Number 15. The Stalker. Well, Reddit can be a fantastic place for armchair investigators or people who just want to laugh. Sometimes really frightening things happen there, like stalkers taking to the website to ask for stalking legal advice. Redditor Daryl Pratt posted to the legal advice subreddit, "I've followed this girl on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram for over a year. She's a minor celebrity. I've never met her, and probably never will, but her posts and replies were the best part of my day. Already there are warning signs galore. He said he liked every one of her posts, only said nice things, and sometimes she even responded to him. But one day she blocked him, and he didn't know why. He made another account requesting that she unblock him, but she blocked that one too and didn't respond. She is literally the best thing in my life, so I was just going to make another account with a fake name to follow her," he wrote. He asked the Reddit community whether complimenting a person and saying nice things could be considered stalking or harassment. Redditors ripped into the poster, with John Spiff noting that his post history showed that he'd taken it a step further, sending love letters to her work address. His YouTube was also filled with random Snapchat screenshots of the girl. The Redditor advised the OP to stop stalking an IGN employee. Other Redditors, like Lex, suggested that the OP see a psychiatrist, as he threatened to take his own life over being rejected by this girl, who he'd never met. It's unclear how this all ended, but we can only hope that this stalker got help and that the IGN employee remains unharmed. Number 14. Video recording. The following story was told by a Redditor who has since deleted their account, but posted on the self-advice subreddit. In her message, she says she received an email where, enclosed, was a video of herself at 15 years old. She writes, "It has no subject, it's from a fake email address, just a 30-second video of me, age 15, on my way home from school, presumably because of the location, answering questions." The OP notes that she never looks at the camera, so she probably didn't even know that she was being recorded. She doesn't remember the video being taken, and there's no sound, so she doesn't know what's being said. The only clue she has is that she's wearing glasses, and her hair color and length tell her around what age she was when this video was taken. In lip reading, she guesses that at one point, she mentioned school, and at another point, my mom. The girl says that the video was taken about 3.5 years prior to her post, and she wonders what she can do about it. She feels intimidated and uncomfortable that someone took the video without her knowledge. Someone who has her email and felt the need to send it to her. There was no further updates. Hopefully this situation didn't get more severe. Number 13. The landlady's son. After moving into a small apartment, Redditor Kimmy Kiss's sweet old lady landlord, Olivia, would often bring over home-cooked leftovers. The OP was a recluse, so she didn't leave her house much, but when she did, she noticed things were being moved around or disappearing altogether. One day after napping, she noticed that the bedding beside her was warm and disturbed. Things only got worse, and she eventually went home to stay with her parents for a few days, which is when she told them everything. Her dad accompanied her back to her apartment, and what they found was horrifying. "Come back, baby, please," was written all over the walls. After calling the police, it was discovered that the landlord's son, Henry, believed he was in a relationship with her. He'd been drugging her food and then snuggling her when she fell asleep. In her own words, "A man I never knew existed, collected my drain hair, clothes, and trash, and practically lived in my apartment for 4 months. Gives you chills just thinking about it." Number 12. The Man Dog. This story will make you think twice before you let your dog out. As Flaxen Flare tells it, she was home alone with her dog around midnight, as her husband was still at work. She let her dog out on a line to use the bathroom one last time before heading to bed. While she was putting her dishes away, the dog started scratching at the door, so she went to let him in. But before she did, she looked through the peephole just to be on the safe side. What she saw stopped her heart. A man was standing on the other side, staring at the door handle. Then she heard another scratch at the door. Instead of opening it, she raced to her cell phone to call her husband. He said he was on his way. Meanwhile, she checked the front door again, and he was still standing out there. He looked up directly at her through the peephole and smiled for a few seconds. Then he left. Her husband arrived shortly after. In Flax and Flair's own words, it turns out this man had cut the end of the line connected to the pipe, and our dog decided this was a good time for him to explore my neighbor's backyard, which was where we found him. It's been 3 years since this happened. We've since moved to a new house, and the police weren't able to come up with any suspects. I suspect that this dog act wasn't this creepy person's first rodeo. Who knows how many times he's done this before, and how many times he's succeeded. Number 11, Rising from the Field. The following story was posted by Like If You Cry Every Time. It's not his original story, but it will make you want to avoid deserted highways. The poster wrote that he was driving a desolate shortcut in the high desert highway east of LA. Amboy, a deserted town, was at the time a known area for Satan worshipping groups. The OP was driving through a canyon bordered by tall grass when he spotted something in the road up ahead. It turned out to be two bodies, a man and a woman, laying in the road next to a red Pontiac Fiero with a suitcase and clothes scattered across both lanes. With his hair standing up on the back of his neck, he rolled to a stop 100 feet away. He was a Marine and had a sixth sense about this. He thought the scene looked staged and wondered if it could be a potential ambush. As it would turn out, he was probably right. He planned a line of attack to pass them by, and when he was sure he had it down, he floored it and went full speed ahead. He managed to avoid hitting the bodies in the road and sped forward a couple hundred feet before looking back in the rearview mirror. The bodies had risen from the ground to their knees, and 20 or more people rose from the grass on either side of the road. In his own words, "I will never know what would have happened to me had I gotten out of the car to check on the bodies or stop my car closer to them. Sometimes real life can be scarier than a movie." Number 10, Midnight Prowler. Have you ever found something seriously disturbing on security footage? Redditor Fat and Depressed did, and he posted the following image. It may give you nightmares. The OP had a smart doorbell with a motion detector camera. Whenever it detected motion, the camera would send a message to his phone, alerting him that he had a visitor. For a while, he kept receiving notifications at random times from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. This happened several nights in a row, but the camera didn't seem to detect anything. Then one night, he received the notifications 4 or 5 times between the hours of 11 p.m. and 12 a.m. No one appeared in the footage, but then at 4 a.m., it captured an image that sent his heart racing. A man staring right into the camera wearing this disturbing mask. Don't look at this image before you go to sleep at night. The OP wrote, "For all of the PMs and comments regarding if I am alive, yes I am. Visitor never returned, thankfully. Thankfully is right. Who knows what that masked man wanted?" Number 9, Trust No One. Endia Banana was a young girl camping with her mom and 6-year-old brother when 3 or 4 men pulled up in a truck, all with lights on their helmets, shining in the family's face so that they couldn't see the men well. Despite having no credentials or anything official looking about them or their vehicle, they claimed to be official campground employees and started questioning her mother about what their plans were for the night. Her mom was visibly shaken by it, and rightly so. Being a smart woman, the girl's mother trusted her gut and told her kids to grab only the essentials and get into the car. They drove to their grandma's house and stayed there instead that night, abandoning everything else at the campsite. They returned to the campground the following morning to gather their things and found boot prints leading to their tent, a halfway unzipped zipper, boot prints on their sleeping bags, and it was clear that their stuff had been picked over. India Banana writes, "We never saw those guys again, but we still wonder what would have happened if we'd stayed. I'm guessing nothing good." Number 8. The Glove Man. One Redditor wrote a word of warning to other Redditors entitled, "Warning Men of Halifax, the Glove Man." In his tale, he told of a man who seemed to be running his own private Uber service. He offered to give them a ride in his black SUV because he was headed in the same direction, and the OP took up the offer. As they were driving, the man began telling him about his business selling leather gloves, and he asked his passenger if he would try some on. They were too tight, but the man encouraged him to squeeze them on. When they didn't fit, he gave the guy another pair of gloves to try on, and the OP realized the guy was breathing heavily. In his own words, this time it becomes extremely obvious that he has an obsession for young men wearing leather gloves, and this is how he gets off. He managed to escape the guy, and as it turns out, the man was known to do this on the regular, so this man's Reddit warning was very much needed. Number 7. Eric and Annie. These two found each other on Reddit. The pair seemed to take a liking to each other, creating long comment chains that reached upwards of 20 replies nearly every day. They had a report, inside jokes. They even had their own post, which they called Eric and Annie's Branch. Needless to say, there was love there. But Annie had a boyfriend. When she broke up with this boy, Eric was seeing someone. Annie couldn't take it, and although she said he was an incredible person, she thought it was best for both of them that they cut off contact. She left. Eric was heartbroken and wanted her desperately to return. He continued to post on Eric and Annie's Branch, but all of the responses were his. She never answered. One of his messages reads, "I miss you. It's more than I describe. It colors every moment of my life and it seems to have no end." He made a final chilling post entitled, "The last branch Eric can make for Annie." Anyone following their tale of unrequited love could see this statement as ominous. One Redditor said he attempted to contact Eric and received no response. What happened to Eric? It remains a mystery to this day. Number 6. Seedy Hotel. Ever stayed in a creepy hotel? Then you'll know what one woman felt after traveling solo for a family reunion. She posted her terrifying tale in an account that's since been deleted after a series of delays pushed her travel back. She pulled into a strip motel off a back road for the night. The clerk at the front desk said it was cash only, and looking back on it, she could see this was a red flag. When she got into the dingy room, she realized it was too dirty to sleep in. There were signs of bed bugs on the mattress, and a cockroach made its way across the floor. She decided to sleep in the back trunk hatch of her SUV, using her clothes as a blanket. She woke up after about an hour to hear someone talking on the phone just outside at 3 a.m. Peering out the window, she saw it was the clerk who checked her in. After finishing his phone call, he went to her room, unlocked the door, and entered. A moment later, he walked out, along with another man. They were speaking hotly to each other. Then the clerk headed over to her SUV. She quickly covered herself with her clothes, and the clerk couldn't see her in the darkness. After she escaped, she called the police 3 weeks later after figuring out the hotel's name. They said the hotel had closed down just 2 days before. Needless to say, there was more than one cockroach at this hotel that night. Number 5. $700,000. Some people use Reddit as a last resort to seek help from strangers before it's too late. That's what happened when Bangarang posted this simple request, needs $700,000. Years later, another Redditor, the Ossel, wrote he was begging in the comments for a way to get money and said he had no way to escape, and then the account just went dead. Saw it once and it shot daggers up my spine. When Redditors responded, mainly with jokes, the OP posted a grainy photo of some men at a distance and said he was being followed. He claimed they were the mob and said they'd probably get to him before he could make any moves. Being as the account went dead, we can only guess that they finally did get to him. It's unlikely that he could have come up with $700,000 in such a short amount of time. Number 4. Man by the Window. Skinna555 posted this freaky Snapchat to Reddit and asked for Redditors' thoughts on it. In the video, he's showing his friends 3 Australian native pet birds, but there's something or someone mysterious in the background. It wasn't until one of his friends responded, "By the way, what was that in the window behind you in the last one?" that he noticed the figure. There appears to be someone looking in through the door in the background, with their hands cupped against it. Though this figure is hard to discern, it isn't in the first video, taken moments earlier. The thing that worried the OP most was that he experienced sleep paralysis, and during these episodes, he felt an evil presence, a faceless person looking into my bedroom window with their hands cupped to the glass. Having watched the video, maybe it all wasn't just in his head. Number 3. Losing time. Strange events unfolded whenever this anonymous poster ran into a strange man in her apartment complex. This is not something I feel I can discuss with my family or personal friends, but I'm losing it here. So I feel the need to work it through with someone, she wrote. She proceeded to explain to the Reddit community that when she was 16 years old, she was out walking her dog and happened to cross paths with a man in his 30s. Wearing a big down coat, he was just standing in the trail, not doing anything. He made her nervous, so after getting past him on the trail, she cut through the trees to return to her apartment, but that was the last she remembers. Until she was outside her apartment door, unlocking it with her key. It was like she lost time. 3 years later, she and her fiancé moved back to that same apartment complex. She was taking the trash out when she heard someone on their phone. She looked up to find the same man, wearing the same coat, holding an old flip phone to his ear. He stared at her as he cussed someone named Lauren out on the other end of the line. Then he broke the phone into pieces and threw them on the ground, while the OP raced back to her apartment building. But again, her mind blanks, and she doesn't remember what happened. All she does remember is waking up in the maternity ward. Her fiancé had taken her in the middle of the night after she'd spiked a fever. He said that she'd acted perfectly normal after coming in from taking the trash out. Even on the way to the hospital, she was chit-chatting. Shortly after, she was diagnosed with the flu and discharged. Nearly a year later was the last time she saw the man in the down coat. This time, he didn't wait for her. He came knocking. Her dog was growling at the door, which was unusual for her. When she answered the door, he was standing on the other side. After seeing him, she remembers nothing. When she came to again an hour and a half after opening the door to him, she was sitting at her kitchen table and the thermostat had been set to 90 degrees. The apartment was blazing hot. She was dressed for work and her baby was crying in her crib. Having not been changed or fed yet, other than these changes, nothing had been stolen, and there was no obvious indications that he'd been there, apart from a little blood by the door, where her dog perhaps had bit the man. What's going on here? Many Redditors suggested she visit a neurologist. Number 2. Basement Chamber. This entry is a gentle reminder why you should not respond to Craigslist ads for rented apartments. Scars and Stripes tells the story of his brother's girlfriend who was searching for an apartment and decided to answer a Craigslist ad that she came across that said, "Roommate wanted, females only." The listing said that the roommate was a 23-year-old female college student, and the apartment itself was quite a deal. She sent an email and was promptly responded to with a time and place to meet for a tour of the apartment. When she arrived at the place, a 40-year-old man claiming to be the landlord answered the door, said the roommate was working late, and offered to give her a tour of the apartment. The man seemed nice enough, so Amanda entered. There was absolutely no furniture in the place. There was only one light on in the kitchen. One of the rooms was closed, and the landlord said it was the roommate's room, and they shouldn't invade her privacy. As alarms started ringing in Amanda's head, she tried to make her way out of the place, but the landlord said she hadn't seen the recently furnished basement yet. When he opened the basement door, it blocked Amanda's way out. Just at that moment, Amanda received a text that she pretended was a phone call. At the same time, they heard a car pull up outside. Thinking on her feet, Amanda told the pretend person on the other end of the line that she would come out front and let them in to take a look at the apartment. The guy looked confused, and as she passed him, and once outside, raced to her car and left immediately. She told her brother and mother what had happened when she got home, and they called the cops. By that time, the Craigslist ad had been removed, and an investigation found that the property had been deserted after the house was foreclosed 6 months prior. In the OP's own words, when the police investigated, the man had tied a thin piece of fishing twine at about shin level across the stairway about halfway down. The basement was empty except another pile of old blankets, a broom handle wrapped in leather belts, and a small box with a few rolls of assorted tape, duct, electric, etc. Amanda made a narrow escape, all thanks to thinking on her feet. Before we get to number 1, my name is Chills and I hope you're enjoying my narration. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. I'm currently doing a super poll on my Instagram. If you believe ghosts are real, then go to my most recent photo and tap the like button. If you don't, DM me saying why. When you're done, come right back to this video to find out the number 1 entry. Also, follow me on Twitter at YT_chills because that's where I post video updates. It's a proven fact that generosity makes you a happier person. So if you're generous enough to hit that subscribe button and the bell beside it, then thank you. This way, you'll be notified of the new videos we upload every Tuesday and Saturday. Number 1. Aurora Theater. What's it like in the midst of a horrific event like what happened at the Aurora Theater on July 20th, 2012? Neon Pikachu X3 posted her account of Inside Aurora Theater in Colorado on the subreddit Let's Not Meet. The account was verified by Reddit and her identity confirmed. The eyewitness account you are about to read is 100% true and is mine, the OP writes. The OP and her husband would often get together with a group of friends at their local movie theater, and they made a date to meet at the midnight premiere of Batman. Her first-hand account of what happened that night is riveting. The pair met their 3 other friends at the cinema at 10:30, and they found their way to Theater 9, the largest screening room at the cinema. The theater was already packed, despite arriving an hour and a half early. Everyone was excited to see the movie, but the OP was tired, having just finished a long shift at work, so she was falling asleep off and on. The last scene she remembered seeing was when Bruce Wayne was investigating Catwoman. That's when a bang went off on the left side of the theater. The theater suddenly smelled like a firework. Then on the right side, the OP spotted him, and as she describes it, a series of flashing lights coming from him. She felt frozen to her seat and she couldn't think. Her husband pulled her to the ground and shielded her with his own body. Shots went off, people were screaming, and the movie played over top of it all. Gun smoke and tear gas mixed in the air, along with the metallic smell of blood. When the bullets ceased for a moment, one of her friends, Tommy, shouted, "Let's get out of here," and they made a run for it, towards one of the green exit signs. When they fell out into the night, another of her friends, Samantha, lost her pink flip-flops. The OP realized she was covered in blood. As they all ran, it was her husband's, as he'd been hit in the leg. She screamed, and her scream alerted construction workers, who came to help carry her husband to safety. They could hear more shooting going on inside the building, but 12 people unfortunately did not, and more than 70 were injured. One scene photo shows the path they took out of the theater, including the pink flip-flops Samantha was wearing, and Holmes was following right behind them. The OP ends her post writing, "I hope you rot in prison." He is likely to do so, as he was sentenced to 12 life sentences without the possibility of parole. Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe because we upload new countdowns every Tuesday and Saturday. Or if you're still not convinced, here are some of our other videos that I think you'd like. Enjoy!